Hello and welcome to Mexico City, where we've had the second round of the 2024-2025 Formula E World Championship. The circuit here in Mexico City, just behind me, it's been a happy hunting ground for Pascal Wehrlein, the reigning world champion in Formula E, and his Porsche team. Just a few years ago, Porsche actually took their first victory in Formula E here, courtesy of Pascal Wehrlein, and just 12 months ago, again, the same combination managed to get that title-winning season off to a great start with victory again in Mexico. And it's just as well that it's a happy hunting ground for Pascal Wehrlein and Porsche, because going back just a couple of weeks to the season opener in Brazil, Pascal Wehrlein suffered that massive accident in Brazil where he ended up on his roof, making heavy contact with the wall. Speaking to him just before the race here in Mexico, it turns out that the halo was actually ripped out the chassis on his Porsche, so he's had to have a new chassis built up ahead of the race this weekend. And as well, although he was given the all clear immediately following that accident, he did have headaches during the Christmas period, went to hospital just for some more checks. No lasting implications though from that crash, and it's like it never happened, because in qualifying Wehrlein took pole position. Not only that, but he also locked out the front row with Porsche teammate António Félix de Costa, the first time Porsche have actually locked out the front row in Formula E. So yeah, great performance from them in qualifying. They started ahead of John-Eric Vergne for DS Penske in third, and Oliver Rowland for Nissan. He showed great race pace in Sao Paulo, the season opener, before getting that technical infraction, which meant he had to serve a drive-through penalty, and unfortunately didn't come in the points. So those are the top four positions on the grid, and here are some of the highlights from the Mexico City E-Prix. So there we are, a win for Oliver Rowland and Nissan, the first one for them of the season, and the first one here in Mexico City as well. And it really went sort of against the run of play. Obviously that late safety car, Oliver Rowland had just activated his final attack mode, 6 minutes, 350 kilowatts. Not only that, but this season, courtesy of the new Gen 3 Evo car, it's all-wheel drive, so it makes a real difference to the performance of the cars, as we saw in Sao Paulo. And the quick recovery of that car meant that Oliver Rowland was given the chance, but it basically one lap. He had just over a minute left of attack mode, and he was able to utilise that to great effect, passing not only Jake Dennis and Pascal Wehrlein, but António Félix de Costa for the lead and eventually the win. And here are the thoughts of the top three from that race.
A first race win here after a strong qualifying, great strategy, and I think you might agree, a little bit of luck there with that safety car at the end.
Yeah, I think the race was a good one. You know, in the beginning, we're trying to kind of save a bit of energy and stay calm. I think in terms of the safety car in the end, there was an element of luck, but I also lost nearly 6 minutes of attack mode. But I do honestly think I would have found it hard to win without that safety car, because I was struggling a little bit to be efficient from after sort of 10 laps. But yeah, I mean, in Sao Paulo, I was kind of had the opposite. I was extremely unlucky when I was doing a good race, and with the technical infraction that we had. But yeah, we've come here, we've done a solid job in qualifying. We were there in the race to pick up the pieces with a little bit of luck, but yeah, I had fun out there, and the podium was incredible.
Coming out of the safety car with, I think it was just over a minute of attack mode there, did you think you could get all 3 cars knowing that this new attack mode is a different beast?
Not really. I was going to give it a go. But yeah, I just put everything I had. It was obviously a little bit easier because I had we weren't really worried about energy after that. So I was able to kind of just go full gas on all 3 corners and give it a go. And that's what I did. But yeah, I mean, this is the end result, so it's a good one.
To António, Félix da Costa with Tag Heuer Porsche, back on top of the championships, you got into the lead of the race. What were the conversations like between you and the team? Was it communicated that you guys were able to race? What were those conversations like?
Mostly just we were keeping an eye on the guys that had attack mode left, so it was Oliver and Mitch. And yeah, we were just trying to manage that and trying to build that gap because we knew he would be coming at some point, and then we would have to see what would happen with energy at the time. I think both myself and Pascal, we were good on energy. So it would have been a nice fight either way with Oliver at the end, had that safety car not come on. But so that it was mainly about that, and then obviously Mitch as well, and I guess he ended up, I haven't seen what happened, I guess he ended up retiring, so he was one less guy we had to worry about.
And we move on to Pascal Wehrlein. You've had 4 pole positions here, another podium here today here in Mexico. We know the fans love you, we've seen cutouts of your face in the crowd. You must love being here in Mexico City, and in particular here at this track.
Yeah, definitely. I wish it was a double header. I've been asking for it for a couple of years now, but yeah, I mean, I love coming here. First of all, for the fans, you know, I feel like they are the best fans in our racing calendar. So enthusiastic. They love motorsport. They love racing. They love us drivers. So many presents and gifts, and yeah, I just enjoy being here.
36 points for the team this weekend, a lead in the team's championship after 2 rounds. Just tell me how it feels to be a driver and how much extra confidence it gives you knowing that you have what looks like on paper and out on the track right now the strongest car so far in the Gen 3 Evo era.
I think there are a couple of good guys here and good teams, and definitely we have a super strong package, but yeah, every weekend we just have to deliver. You know, in Sao Paulo it looked like Oli, for example, had a pretty strong race. We know that Mexico somehow suits us every year. And on my side, I have to say I'm just happy that, you know, rebuilding a completely new car here in Mexico, my mechanics on Wednesday and Thursday, that the car feels nice, it feels normal, and I can fight with it again. There's always small doubts, you know, when you have to rebuild a completely new car, if it works or if something feels different. And yeah, definitely I have to say a big congrats and thank you to my mechanics and to my team for an awesome job and faultless rebuild.
So there we are, the thoughts of the top 3 from the drivers' press conference. And António Félix da Costa, he took second in Sao Paulo, second here in Mexico City. That actually gives him the lead of the Drivers' Championship. It's actually the first time that he's led the standings since his championship win in 2020, so more than 4 years ago. So great performance by him. Again, unlucky perhaps not to get the win given the timing of that safety car. But the driver who actually led the championship coming into this event was Mitch Evans. He started a bit further down on the grid, and he was running in the top 5, and like Oliver Rowland, he actually had one of his attack modes left, and he was going to be taking it after that first safety car. Unfortunately, though, he got caught up in an accident with Nico Muller, damaged his suspension, meant he retired. It was a disastrous weekend, to be honest, for Jaguar as a whole, because Nick Cassidy, he did actually set a time which was good enough to get through the qualifying group into the duels, but his lap time was stripped away because of a technical infraction to do with the throttle pedal mat on his car, and he started last on the grid. But unlike Sao Paulo, where Mitch Evans had been able to actually come from the very last position of the grid to win, overtaking here was very, very difficult. It just wasn't possible, and he only actually ended up finishing, classified 12th with a few other penalties for other people. Another team that also struggled were McLaren. I mean, they came into this race as the leading the team's championship, but again, neither driver scored points. Sam Bird again failed to get through the qualifying group. His best qualifying lap was blocked by Nick de Vries. The Mahindra driver was given a penalty for that. And then Taylor Barnard as well, he had problems we had a damp qualifying, so his tyre pressures were a little bit out of the window. It meant he started towards the back of the grid. He did actually finish the race in 10th place, so the final points paying position, but he was handed a penalty post-race, 5 seconds for track limits overtaking off the track, dropped him out of the points. So not a very good weekend for McLaren or Jaguar. And as we've seen already from the 2 races that we've had with the new Gen 3 Evo machine, it's just so unpredictable at the minute. Next race of the season is going to be taking place at a new venue for Formula E, Jeddah. It's the same location that Formula 1 use. It is going to be on a shorter layout though. First double header there. Not only that, but we're actually going to see the new pit boost concept being used for the first time. So it's going to be, again, anybody's guess who is going to come out on top there. But given the first 2 races, it does look like Porsche, Pascal Wehrlein, reigning world champion, are the combination to beat. But having said that, they've yet to record a win. Will that change in Jeddah? Only time will tell.